I'm going to try stick to the facts as closely as I can with this one, but I'm not happy. What they're going to do to us and our ability to earn yield on stablecoins, it's not cool. So anyway, let's stick to the facts of the story and we can discuss it later. Because the US Senate Banking Committee has released a new draft of its crypto market structure bill. The update reflects a negotiated compromise shaped by large financial institutions and policymakers, and it directly restricts how stablecoin users can earn yield. The bill sets explicit limits on rewards tied to holding stablecoins while preserving traditional banking protections. On January 12, 2026, the Senate Banking Committee published an updated draft of its digital asset market structure legislation. The bill includes finalized language governing payment stablecoins and reward mechanisms, among other things. But this is what we're focusing on. The text was released ahead of a scheduled committee markup hearing later this week and represents the current working draft that will be under consideration. This is what they're going to go with and propose. So here we go. Under the current draft, you cannot earn interest style yield simply for holding a payment stablecoin if that yield is paid by an exchange, custodian, or a stablecoin issuer. The bill explicitly prohibits digital asset service providers from paying interest or yield, whether in cash, tokens, or other consideration, solely in connection with holding a payment stablecoin. So what is still allowed? The draft that does allow activity-based rewards or incentives. These include rewards tied to transactions, payments, or usage-related activity. So in practical terms, guys, passive yield for holding a stable coin will be restricted. Incentives linked to actual payment activity will be permitted. The rule applies to exchanges, custodians, and issuers classified as service providers. The distinction is mechanical, holding versus using. So this bill does not regulate or authorize yield generated outside service providers, such as through independent lending or decentralized protocols. Interest paid by banks on tokenized deposits. Stablecoin-like products that fall outside of the bill's definition of payment stablecoins. So these activities remain governed by separate regulatory regimes. So what that kind of means, guys, is if you have a stablecoin that's probably backed by treasuries or backed one-to-one with the dollar, you're not going to be able to earn yield or money simply for keeping it in your wallet, right? But we're still going to be able to get staking rewards and all that kind of stuff. So that's what they're saying. So under this draft, stablecoins are formally treated as payment instruments rather than savings products, right? Let's think about this. Think about holding a stablecoin in your wallet as holding cash, physical cash in your wallet. You don't get interest on it. If you put a stablecoin in your digital wallet, you're not going to get interest on it. So yield tied to holding is going to be constrained. Yield tied to activity remains permissible under the defined conditions. So this was a big sticking point, right? This is one of the reasons they couldn't agree on it. Is the banks, the big banks, were not happy, and they got a lot of money. So they went to the lobby. They complained. They talked to the lobbyists, who talked to the senators, who marked this up and said, okay, yeah, you're right. Stablecoins are basically digital cash, and cash does not pay interest if it's sitting under your mattress. The same thing needs to happen with stablecoins. So that is a big thing that's coming out in this bill. What it doesn't mean, though, is we can still get our rewards from Ethereum. We can still, if we spend our stablecoins and say, hey, if you spend this, you get 1% cash back. Like that type of stuff, according to how it's written, can still happen. But this is just another instance, guys, of the big banks and the politicians getting their way and pushing through this to make everybody happy, and so the big guys don't lose their money. That's my take anyway. Guys, I hope this helped. I hope this brought some clarity to what we hope is the market structure bill, but we're still a long ways away. We are a long ways away. This is one committee draft in the Senate. There's another committee in the Senate working on their own draft. Those two drafts need to agree together. And then the House has already passed their own version, which doesn't include half of the stuff in the Senate version. And then those all need to come together and they need to agree. So, albeit there is a meeting in 2 days, January 15th, which everybody has on their calendar. This is not the date it's going to pass, right? It's not the date that they're going to vote on it. We might get some insight as to what's going to be in this and how it will affect crypto on our holdings, right? And maybe be able to just play it, use it to our advantage to, to make some bets or know what we need to buy or sell or whatever. But this is a long ways away from being voted on. I could even see it use it as a political tool for the midterms, right? This could possibly be not voted upon until end of 26 or even early 27 once the midterms are done. Okay, because the thing they're also not addressing, which I believe is in, I forget which version it's in, but there are some Democrats making a big stink, and maybe it's rightfully so, about conflict of interest of politicians and people in office holding crypto businesses that make money, right? They're obviously directing it at Trump, World Liberty Financial, American Bitcoin, and his Trump Media, which is a big Bitcoin holder. So we've got the conflict of interest. We got the stablecoin stuff. There's a lot of different things that they need to agree upon. And we're just in the very beginnings of at least they're starting the conversation and working on in the committees. This is a long way from being passed. So guys, hope this helps. I'll bring you updates as they drop. But for now, this is Ledger Prime.